The American Sheep Industry Association recognizes over 60 sheep breeds. Some have been introduced recently via semen and/or embryos. Others were brought with early explorers and helped to establish commerce in the American colonies. American Blackbelly. The American Blackbelly is the result of crossing the Barbados Blackbelly with the Mouflon and Rambouillet, primarily to produce rams for trophy hunting. Rams generally display spectacular horns, whereas ewes are usually polled. Otherwise, the American Blackbelly has similar characteristics as the Barbados Blackbelly. Awassi. The Awassi is a fat-tailed sheep that was originally raised by nomads in the desert. Today, it is the highest milk-producing breed in the Middle East. The Awassi is multicolored, white with brown heads and legs. Its ears are long and drooping. Rams are horned, while ewes are usually polled. The breed is extremely hardy and well adapted to poor feeding conditions. The Awassi crossed with the East Frisian is called an Asaf. The Awassi was introduced to the U.S. in 2012 via embryos. Baby Doll Southdown. The Old English Baby Doll Southdown is a smaller version of the Southdown breed, developed by breeders who wished to restore the Southdown to its origins before artificial selection was applied. To be eligible for registry, sheep must be smaller than 24 inches at the time of shearing. Due to their small stature, baby dolls are often promoted for vineyard and orchard grazing. They are raised primarily as pets. Barbados Blackbelly. The Barbados Blackbelly originated on the Caribbean island of Barbados. It descends from sheep brought to the islands from West Africa during the slave era. Blackbellies are antelope-like in appearance, brown, tan, or yellow in color, with black points and underparts. Both ewes and rams are polled or have only small skers or diminutive horns. Barbados Blackbellies are noted for their hardiness, including resistance to internal parasites and reproductive efficiency. The first Blackbellies were introduced to the U.S. in 1904. The Barbados Blackbelly is on the Livestock Conservancy's watch list. Black Welsh Mountain. The Black Welsh Mountain is a small sheep that produces a dense, completely black fleece. Ewes are polled, but rams have impressive horns. The breed was introduced to the U.S. in 1973. Semen imports in the late 1990s added genetic diversity to U.S. flocks. The Livestock Conservancy categorizes the Black Welsh Mountain as threatened. The Blue-Faced Leicester. The Blue-Faced Leicester is a dual-purpose, long-wool breed of sheep developed by famed agriculturalist Robert Bakewell. Of the three Leicester breeds, the Blue-Faced Leicester has the finest wool. The breed gets its name from its deep blue skin, white hairs on black skin. In England, the crossbred progeny of the Blue-Faced Leicester are called mules. Mule ewes make up more than half of England's crossbred ewe population. The first Blue-Faced Leicesters were imported into the United States in the early 1980s. Semen from the UK is used to add genetic diversity to the U.S. flock. Borula Merino. The Borula Merino is a strain of Merino that has a very high rate of multiple births. It was developed in Australia from a flock that was being selected for improved reproductive rate. A single gene was identified in the flock, which was determined to have a major influence on prolificacy. The homozygous genotype
results in ovulation rates of 5 or more, while the heterozygous genotype produces ovulation rates of 3 or more. The Borrula gene can be transferred to other breeds. Border Cheviot. The Border Cheviot originated in the Cheviot Hills on the border between England and Scotland. They were imported into the United States in 1838. Cheviots are a small breed with a white face and bare head and legs. They have erect ears with a stylish and alert appearance. Cheviots are known for their hardiness and spirit. They produce medium wool and desirable carcasses at light weights. Border Leicester. The Border Leicester is a dual-purpose, long-wooled sheep that originated in England. Their name derives from the fact that their birthplace is near to the border of Scotland. It is not known when the Border Leicester was first imported into the U.S., but the 1920 census lists them. Their long, curly, lustrous wool is popular with hand spinners. California Red. California Reds originated in California in the 1970s. They're a cross between the Tunis and Barbado. Lambs are born red. Their fleece color lightens as they get older. Fleeces of mature animals are beige or oatmeal-colored, with dark hairs interspersed. Because of the hairs in the wool isn't viable commercially. However, it is popular with hand spinners. Rams are polled, but usually have manes. The breed has an extended breeding season.
Developed in the early 1900s, the Romney is a cross between the Romney and Rambouillet. California Variegated Mutant is a color pattern of Romney.
It is the term used for a badger-faced pattern. The soft wool and the unusual colors of the CVM are especially prized by hand spinners. Romney's and CVMs are generally considered two types of the same breed. While Romney's are mostly white, CVMs are naturally colored. The Romney's CVM is categorized as critical by the Livestock Conservancy. Charolais. Charolais sheep originated in France in the same region as Charolais cattle. They are widely used as terminal sires in the United Kingdom and Western Europe. They add growth and carcass muscling to market lambs. A myostatin gene mutation responsible for increased muscularity is found at a high frequency in the breed. There may be a small number of Charolais sheep in the U.S. There are greater numbers in Canada. Clun Forest. At one time, the Clun Forest was the third most numerous pure breed in Britain. Its parent breeds are Hill Radnor, Shropshire, and Kerry Hill. Cluns are a dark-faced, dual-purpose sheep that possess many desirable maternal characteristics. The breed was first imported into the U.S. in 1970. The North American Clun Forest Association discourages showing, preferring to stress the performance aspects of the breed. The Livestock Conservancy categorizes the Clun Forest as threatened. Columbia. Columbia sheep were developed in the early 1900s by the United States Department of Agriculture with the intent of replacing crossbreeding on the range. Lincoln rams were crossed with Rambouillet ewes. While originally developed for range conditions, the Columbia has proved adaptable to conditions throughout the U.S. They are one of the largest sheep breeds in the U.S. Columbias are a dual-purpose breed that produce fast-growing lambs and heavy medium-wool fleeces
with good staple length. Coopworth. The Coopworth was developed at Lincoln University in New Zealand to increase the lambing percentages of Romney ewes when mated to Border Leicester rams. Coopworths are a medium-sized, dual-purpose, long-wool sheep. The first Coopworths were imported into the U.S. in the 1970s, and while they're the second most common breed in New Zealand, in the U.S. they're mostly raised for their wool. Their wool is relatively coarse with a long staple length. The American Coopworth Registry is the only registry that offers breeders a performance designation for their sheep.
Cormo. The Cormo breed takes its name from its two parent breeds, Corriedale and Merino. The breed was developed in the early 1960s in Australia. It was introduced to the U.S. in 1976, where it is raised mostly for wool. It is a rare breed. Corriedale. The Corriedale is one of the most numerous breeds worldwide. It is a dual-purpose sheep, suitable for both lamb and wool production. Corriedales were developed in the 1800s, almost simultaneously in Australia and New Zealand. The parent breeds are Merino on the dam side and Lincoln Longwool on the sire side. Corriedales were first brought to the U.S. in 1914. Cotswold. The Cotswold is a dual-purpose long-wool breed that originated in the Cotswold Hills in England. The breed was introduced to the U.S. in 1831. In the U.S., it is raised primarily for wool. Cotswold wool hangs in locks and fibers that have a lustrous, silky sheen. There is a separate registry for black Cotswolds, as they are considered a distinct breed. The Livestock Conservancy categorizes the Cotswold as threatened. Dubois-Lay. The Dubois-Lay was developed in New Mexico in 1920 from Delane Merino Rambouillet crosses. The breed is well adapted to the range conditions of the southwestern United States. The Dubois-Lay is raised primarily for its fine wool. It is still common to cross Merinos with Rambouillets. Delane Merino. Not only is the Merino one of the oldest breeds of sheep in the world, it is the most influential. Merinos were developed in Spain in the 12th century, but not introduced to the U.S. until the early 1800s. The Delane Merino is the type of Merino sheep found predominantly in the U.S. It is described as smooth-bodied and free from wrinkles. Besides their wool, the softest and finest of any breed, Merinos possess many other desirable characteristics, including an extended breeding season. They are hardy, long-lived sheep with a well-developed flocking instinct.
The Dorper is a South African breed of hare sheep. They were developed in the 30s and 40s by crossing horned Dorset rams with Persian black-headed ewes. There are two recognized varieties of Dorper. A black head and white body are characteristic of the classic Dorper, while white Dorpers are completely white. Dorpers were imported into the U.S. in the mid-1990s. Having originated from a different part of Africa, Dorpers lack the parasite resistance of other U.S. hare breeds. They also do not shed as well, sometimes leaving clumps of wool or retaining wool on their back. However, they are the growthiest, heaviest muscled hare breed in the U.S. They are one of the most popular registered breeds in the U.S. The horned Dorset originated in southern England, probably from the Merino, and was first imported into the U.S. in 1885. The polled Dorset is believed to be the result of a mutation in the Dorset flock at North Carolina State University in 1948.
Dorsets are an all-white sheep, medium in size. They produce medium wool, free from dark fibers. Dorsets, especially the horned variety, are best known for their ability to breed out of season. The breed possesses characteristics which make them suitable as either a sire or dam breed. While the polled Dorset is one of the most popular breeds in the U.S., the Livestock Conservancy categorizes the horned Dorset as threatened. The East Frisian is considered to be the world's highest producing dairy sheep. It originated in the Frisian area of Germany and Holland, the same area as the Holstein, the world's highest producing dairy cow. Frisian sheep are of the northern European short-tailed variety of sheep. They are prolific, averaging over 2 lambs per lambing. Crossbred Frisians were introduced to the U.S. in 1993. The first purebreds arrived in 1994. Frisians are raised as either purebreds or crossbreds on U.S. dairy sheep operations. Sometimes they are introduced into a flock to improve milk production. The crossbreds are much hardier than the purebreds, whose lambs are prone to pneumonia. Finn sheep, or Finnish landrace, as they are known in their native country of Finland, are one of the most prolific breeds of sheep in the world. Typical litter sizes are 3 to 4 lambs. Finns are related to other Scandinavian short-tailed breeds of sheep. They were first imported into the U.S. in 1968, where their primary use was to produce crossbred ewes for commercial lamb production. More research work and data has been compiled in the U.S. involving Finn sheep and their crosses than any other breed of sheep. Besides being prolific, Finn sheep are hardy, have strong mothering instincts, and will lamb on an accelerated lambing schedule. Finn lambs are known for their outstanding vigor. In more recent years, Finn sheep have become valued for their soft fleeces of medium wool, which have a similar range of colors as Shetland and Icelandic. The Florida Cracker is considered to be one of the oldest breeds of sheep in the U.S., having descended from the sheep Spanish explorers brought to Florida in the 1500s. The breed evolved under natural conditions, roaming free until the end of World War II, when Florida's open-range policy ended. Because Florida Crackers are a landrace breed, unimproved, they vary in size and appearance. Many have red markings similar to the Tunis. They produce a medium wool. They are categorized as a critical breed by the Livestock Conservancy.
Gotland takes its name from the Swedish island of Gotland, where it originated. They are a medium-sized, naturally polled breed of the northern European short-tailed variety of sheep. They are known for producing fur pelts and fleeces for hand spinning or felting. Colors range from silver to almost black. The Gotland is being established in the U.S. via upgrading with imported semen. The first semen was imported in 2003. Gulf Coast Native. The Gulf Coast Native is believed to have descended from the sheep brought to the New World by Spanish explorers. They developed largely through natural selection under the humid subtropical conditions common to the Gulf states. Numerous universities have documented the parasite resistance of the Gulf Coast Native. Most of the sheep are white. They lack wool on their faces, legs, and sometimes bellies. Sexes may be polled or horned. The Gulf Coast Native is classified as critical by the Livestock Conservancy. Hampshire. Hampshire sheep were developed in southern England by mingling of various breeds, including Old Hampshire, Berkshire Knot, Wiltshire Horn, Southdown, and Cotswold. Hampshires were first imported into the U.S. in the 1860s
but many of the flocks were scattered or destroyed during the Civil War. Importations resumed in the 1880s. Hampshires are a large breed with black heads and legs and wool on their heads and legs. They are a superior meat breed. Their most common use is as a terminal sire to produce crossbred offspring whose carcasses yield a high percentage of boneless retail cuts. For this reason, the Hampshire is also a very popular club lamb sire. They are one of the most popular registered breeds. Herdwick. The Herdwick is a very old breed, possibly originating from Scandinavia. They are considered to be the hardiest of Britain's hill sheep. Herdwick lambs are born mostly black. Their fleeces turn to dark brown and gray as they get older. Their wool is thick, coarse, and wiry, used primarily for outer wear and carpets. Herdwick rams sport horns, while ewes are polled. They are a medium-sized, dual-purpose breed. In 2008, the first Herdwick semen was introduced to the U.S. Hogue Island. In the 1700s, a flock of sheep, originating from British breeds of the era, was established on Virginia's Barrier Islands. For centuries, the sheep adapted to the island environment, free from human intervention, becoming feral. In 1978, the last sheep were removed from Hogue Island. The sheep are being preserved by several organizations due to their relevance to American history. There is a flock at George Washington's Mount Vernon. Hogue Island sheep vary in physical appearance. As with other landrace breeds, they are relatively small. Most are white, about 20% are black. Ewes and rams can be polled or horned. The Hogue Island breed is classified as critical by the Livestock Conservancy.
Icelandic. The Icelandic is one of the world's oldest and purest breeds of sheep, boasting an 1100-year history. It is the only breed of sheep raised in Iceland. It is of the northern European short-tailed group of sheep, having a short, fluke-like tail that is not docked. Rams and ewes may be horned or polled. Icelandics are considered to be a triple-purpose sheep: meat, wool, and milk. Their fleece is dual-coated and comes in a range of colors. Similar to the Burralola Merino, a gene has been found in the Icelandic breed which causes high levels of reproduction. There is also a separate line of sheep in the breed called leader sheep, which have a unique ability to lead the flock from peril. Icelandic sheep were first imported into the U.S. in 1993. Semen from Iceland adds to the genetic diversity of the breed. Ile-de-France. The Ile-de-France is a breed native to France. It was developed at a French veterinary college in the 1830s by crossing the English Leicester and Rambouillet. The Ile-de-France is a major breed in France and is popular worldwide. It is used primarily as a terminal sire. In the U.S., the Ile-de-France is increasingly being used for commercial lamb production. Jacob. The most striking features of the Jacob are its 4 horns, 2 vertical center horns and 2 side horns curling alongside of the head, and its spotted black and white fleece. The Jacob is a very old breed of unknown origins. The first importations of Jacobs to the U.S. occurred in the early 1900s. Like its British counterpart, the American Jacob is a small, primitive breed, valued for its unique features. Jacobs are categorized as threatened by the Livestock Conservancy. Caracoule. The Caracoule is probably one of the world's oldest breeds of sheep.
It is native to Central Asia. Caracools were first introduced to the US during the early 1900s. Caracools differ radically in conformation as compared to most US breeds. They have a fat or broad tail, though the size of their tail varies among individuals. They have a colored fleece, which is due to a dominant black gene. Most lambs are born coal black, with lustrous, wavy curls. The pelts of Caracool lambs were historically referred to as Persian lambskin. Most adult Caracools have a double coat. Caracool ewes have an extended breeding season. The Livestock Conservancy categorizes the Caracool American as threatened. Katahdin. The Katahdin is an American breed of hair sheep, developed in the 1950s on the Peel Farm in Maine. It is the result of crossing hair sheep from the Caribbean with various British breeds, especially the Suffolk. In the 1970s, the Wiltshire Horn was introduced to add size and carcass quality to the mix, but eventually selection was against horns. The Katahdin is probably the best all-round hair sheep in North America, as it blends the best qualities of Caribbean hair sheep with the superior growth and carcass quality of wooled sheep. Katahdins excel in maternal and fitness traits, including parasite resistance. They are the most numerous registered breed of sheep in the US. The Katahdin is a performance-oriented breed, with good participation in the National Sheep Improvement Program.
Kerry Hill is a British breed that originated in a region near the Welsh-English border. The breed's most notable characteristic is its unique markings. It has a white face with black markings around its mouth, ears, and eyes. Its legs are white with black markings. It is a handsome sheep, medium in size, with good maternal traits. Kerry Hill semen was imported into the US in 2006. Lacan. The Lacan is the most popular dairy sheep in France. From its milk, France makes its famous Roquefort cheese. As compared to the East Frisian, the Lacan produces less milk, but with higher total solids. Though the Lacan is a wooled breed, it tends to shed most of its wool from the chest down. The Lacan was imported into Canada in 1996, then the US. In the US, it has become common to cross the Lacan with the East Frisian for dairying. Semen importations from France in 2017 will freshen the Lacan gene pool in the US. Leicester Longwool. The Leicester Longwool, or English Leicester, is an old English breed that produces a fleece that is heavy, curly, soft handling, and lustrous, with a spiral-tipped staple. The breed was developed in the 1700s by Robert Bakewell. The Leicester Longwool is a heritage breed, well known by the American colonies. Conservation efforts are spearheaded by the Colonial Williamsburg Foundation, which maintains its own flock. The Livestock Conservancy categorizes them as threatened. Lincoln. The Lincoln is an English breed, considered to be one of the world's largest breeds of sheep. Its fleece is the heaviest, longest stapled, and most lustrous of any breed in the world. Lincolns were first brought to the United States in the 1800s, where they contributed to the development of several commercially important American breeds, including the Columbia and Targhee. In the U.S., Lincolns are raised mostly for wool. The Livestock Conservancy lists them as threatened. Montadale. The Montadale is an American breed of sheep, developed by E.H. Mattingly in the 1930s. Mattingly's goal was to combine the best characteristics
of Midwestern mutton-type sheep and big Western range sheep. He bred Cheviot rams to Columbia ewes. The Montadale is a large white-faced sheep. It is suitable as either a sire or dam breed.
The Navajo Churro is one of the oldest sheep breeds in the U.S., having descended from the Churra sheep brought to the New World by Spanish explorers. Over the years, there were numerous attempts to destroy the Navajo Churro population, almost resulting in the breed's extinction. However, since the 1970s, the Navajo Churro Project has been dedicated to preserving this culturally important breed. Navajo Churros are a landrace breed, hardy and adapted to the adverse conditions found in hot, dry deserts and sub-zero climates. They have a double-coated fleece that is classified as carpet wool and used primarily for rug weaving. The wool is the basis of the famous Navajo carpets. Ewes and rams can be polled or have 2 to 4 horns. Despite continuing conservation efforts, the Navajo Churro is classified as threatened by the Livestock Conservancy. The North Country Cheviot is a type of Cheviot native to Scotland. They are larger than their southern relatives, the Border Cheviot. North Countries are hardy hill breed that are raised primarily for meat. They are suitable as either a sire or dam breed. They are a medium-sized, deep-bodied, hornless sheep. The first North Country Cheviots were imported to North America in 1944, where they are favored by shepherds looking for sheep that can take care of themselves. Oxford. The Oxford originated in England. It is the result of crossing Cotswolds with Hampshires. A small amount of Southdown blood was introduced in the early development of the breed. The first Oxfords were imported to North America in 1846. The Oxford is a medium to large sheep with a dark brown face and wool on the legs. It is used primarily as a terminal sire. It produces a medium-grade wool. The Oxford is on the Livestock Conservancy's watch list. Painted Desert. The Painted Desert is a spotted hair sheep. It originated in Texas by crossing Mouflon with Rambouillet, Merino, and Texas Blackbelly. Some Jacob and Navajo Churro influence was used to create multi-horned animals. Painted Desert sheep breed out of season. They may be flighty when confined to small spaces. The breed is raised mostly for trophy hunting. Panama. Sheep originated in 1912 in Idaho. The foundation of the breed was a cross of Rambouillet rams to Lincoln ewes. Though developed from the reciprocal cross, they are not as large as the Columbia. Panama sheep produce a medium long stapled fleece. They are hardy sheep, best adapted to range conditions. It is not known if many purebred Panama sheep remain.
Herondale. Herondales were developed in the 1950s at Massey University in New Zealand. Their parent breeds are Border Cheviot and Romney. They were developed as an easy care breed. They're considered dual-purpose and well-suited to cold, high rainfall areas. There aren't many Herondale sheep in the U.S. Polypay. The Polypay is an outstanding maternal breed. It was developed in the 1970s at the U.S. Sheep Experiment Station in Dubois, Idaho, and Nicholas Farms in Sonoma, California. Targhee x Dorset and Rambouillet x Finn sheep crosses were mated to form a 4-breed composite that could produce 2 lamb crops and 1 wool crop per year. Polypays are a medium-sized, prolific breed with an extended breeding season. Good mothers and milkers, they produce lambs with good growth and carcass quality. The name Polypay
comes from poly for many or much, and pay to indicate a return on investment and labor. The Polypay is a performance-oriented breed with good participation in the National Sheep Improvement Program, NSIP. Raka. The Raka is a Hungarian breed of sheep, known for its spiral-shaped horns. Mature males may have horns as long as 2 feet or more. The minimum standard is 20 inches for rams and 12 to 15 inches for eves. The corkscrew horns protrude almost straight upward from the top of the head. The Raka has double-coated fleece with a very long and coarse outer coat. Color varies from white to brown to black. The breed was introduced to the U.S. in 2005 via semen. Rambouillet. The Rambouillet is the foundation of most Western range flocks. It was developed from the Spanish Merino in France and Germany and imported into the U.S. in the 1800s. The Rambouillet is a large, rugged breed of medium growth and good longevity. It has a well-developed flocking instinct, an important trait in range flocks. Rambouillet produces high-quality, fine wool. Though considered a range breed, the Rambouillet is adaptable to different conditions and is raised throughout the U.S. They're considered to be a dual-purpose breed. Rambouillet eves have an extended breeding season. Rideau Arcot. The Rideau Arcot is a Canadian breed. It was developed at a research center for the purpose of developing a sheep that reproduced rapidly and could be used for research purposes. The breed's mix is 40% Finnish landrace, 20% Suffolk, 14% East Frisian, 9% Shropshire, and 8% Dorset Horn. The remaining 9% consists of Border Leicester, North Country Cheviot, Romney or Rambouillet x Romney, and Corriedale. The Rideau Arcot excels in reproductive traits, early puberty, prolificacy, and an extended breeding season. The breed is widely used in the Canadian sheep industry and was imported into the U.S. in the 1990s.
The Romanov. The Romanov is one of the most prolific breeds of sheep in the world. It originated in Russia's Volga Valley. The breed is of the Northern European short-tail variety. Purebred Romanov lambs are born pure black and lighten to a soft silver gray as they make their fleece. The color is lost on their first cross. The fleece of adult animals is double-coated and not well suited to commercial markets. Romanovs possess outstanding maternal characteristics. First introduced to the U.S. in the 1980s, the primary use of the Romanov is the production of crossbred ewes, 1/4 and 1/2 blood ewes that are put on a terminal sire. Such ewes will produce lamb crops between 200 and 300%. Romney. The Romney is a long wool sheep that developed in a marshy area of England. It is the predominant breed in New Zealand. Romneys were first imported into the U.S. in 1904. While a good dual-purpose breed, Romneys are raised mostly for wool in the U.S. Their fleeces are heavy, long, and lustrous. Their wool has the finest diameter of any of the long wool breeds. Romneys can be white or colored. They are open-faced and polled. Royal White. Originally called the Dorpcroy, the Royal White is an American breed of hair sheep, developed in the 1990s by William Hogue. It is a cross between the Dorper and St. Croix. The breed is pure white. It grows a longer hair in the winter that is shed off naturally in the spring. Ewes and rams are naturally hornless. Santa Cruz. The Santa Cruz is an extremely rare breed that once existed as a feral sheep on the Santa Cruz Island of the Channel Islands of California. After they were removed from the island, conservation efforts were begun to save the breed from extinction. Santa Cruzes are a small, hardy sheep, most likely originating from the Merino, Rambouillet, and Chura breeds. They're categorized as critical by the Livestock Conservancy. Scottish Blackface. Numerically and economically, the Scottish Blackface is one of the most important breeds in the United Kingdom, but in the U.S. they are a minor breed, raised mostly for their wool. Scottish Blackfaces are horned in both sexes, and as their name suggests, they have a black face, sometimes with white markings. They produce a carpet-quality wool that is double-coated. They are a tough and adaptable breed, one of the most stunning in looks.
The Shetland. The Shetland is a very old breed, having originated over 1,000 years ago. It belongs to the Northern European short-tailed group of sheep and is one of the smallest breeds of sheep. Shetlands are known primarily for their production of colorful wool, upon which the Shetland woolen industry is based. Shetland wool comes in one of the widest ranges of colors of any breed. There are 11 main colors, as well as 30 markings, many still bearing their Shetland dialect names. As a primitive breed, Shetlands naturally shed their wool during late spring, early summer. Shropshire. The Shropshire breed originated in central western England, likely from crosses between native blackface sheep and the Southdown, Leicester, and Cotswold. The first Shropshires were imported into the U.S. in 1855. During the 30s and 40s, the Shropshire was the most popular and influential breed in the U.S. They are a medium to large-sized breed, with black faces and legs. The Shropshire is raised primarily for meat, with its primary role being that of terminal sire. The Shropshire is on the Livestock Conservancy's watch list. Soay. Soay sheep descend from feral sheep on the island of Soay in the St. Kilda archipelago, off the northern coast of Scotland. Soay means sheep island in Norse. They are of the northern European short-tailed variety of sheep. They are small, athletic sheep that resemble a gazelle in appearance. They are brown in color. Ewes are either polled or horned. Rams are usually horned. Like other primitive breeds, they are extremely hardy. They shed their fleeces naturally. The breed is rare in the U.S. South African Meat Merino, SAM. The South African Meat Merino, or SAM, originated in South Africa. It is derived entirely from the German mutton merino. Years of selection resulted in a versatile sheep with good meat and wool. Their fine wool isn't as good as many merinos, but they are better meat producers. SAMs were introduced into the U.S. via embryos in 1999. Southdown. The Southdown was developed in the Sussex Hills of England in the late 1700s and early 1800s. It was imported into the U.S. in the 1820s. Southdowns are a medium to small-sized breed. Their face and legs are gray to mouse brown. They are an early maturing breed that excels in crossbreeding programs to produce meaty lamb carcasses at a light weight and hothouse lambs. They produce a medium fleece that is the finest of the British breeds. The prepotency of the Southdown is well known. They are one of the most popular breeds in the U.S.
The St. Augustine is a relatively new breed of a hair sheep. It was developed in the 1990s by Ron and Ruth Caber. It is a cross between the St. Croix and the Dorper. The St. Croix was selected for its mothering ability, parasite resistance, and hardiness. The Dorper was valued for its size and muscling. Being bred and developed in Florida, the breed is well adapted to hot, humid conditions and has good parasite resistance. The St. Croix is a hair sheep native to the U.S. Virgin Islands and named after the island of St. Croix. The St. Croix likely descends from the African sheep brought to the Caribbean on slave ships. Most of the breed is white with some solid tan, brown, black, or white with brown or black spots. Both sexes are polled, and rams have a large throat ruff. In addition to having outstanding reproductive capabilities, the breed is considered to be the most parasite-resistant breed in the U.S. The St. Croix is classified as a threatened breed by the Livestock Conservancy. Found throughout the world, the Suffolk is a British breed, the result of crossing Southdown rams onto Norfolk ewes. The first Suffolks were brought to the U.S. in 1888. Today, the Suffolk is one of the most popular breeds in the U.S. It is the most popular sire of market lambs and one of the preferred breeds for producing club lambs. Suffolks are one of the largest breeds in the U.S. Their lambs grow fast and produce well-muscled carcasses. They are an attractive breed with a bare black head and legs and long pendulous ears. The Targhee is an American breed of sheep developed in 1926 at the U.S. Sheep Experiment Station in Dubois, Idaho, from Rambouillet, Columbia, and Corriedale crosses. The breed derives its name from the Targhee National Forest on which the station's flock grazed in the summer. The Targhee is a dual-purpose sheep with good meat type and a heavy fleece of high-quality wool. The breed is especially popular in Montana, Wyoming, and South Dakota. The Targhee is a performance-oriented breed with good participation in the National Sheep Improvement Program. The Teeswater is a large dual-purpose sheep from Great Britain. They are known for their long pearled locks with a staple length of 8 to 12 inches. The wool is among the finest of the long wool breeds. The Teeswater was crossed with the English Leicester to yield the Wensleydale breed. The first Teeswater semen was imported into the U.S. in 1996.
The Texel originated on the Isle of Texel off the coast of the Netherlands early in the 19th century. The breed became available to U.S. sheep producers in 1990 when they were released from quarantine at the U.S. Meat Animal Research Center in Clay Center, Nebraska, where they were being evaluated for their potential in crossbred lamb production. The most outstanding characteristic of the Texel is its remarkable muscle development. Texel sired lambs show an advantage of 1 full leg score in breed comparisons. In more recent years, it has been learned that the Texel may be more resistant to internal parasites as compared to other wooled breeds, making it a good choice for siring crossbred lambs that will be finished on grass. The Texel has become the dominant terminal sire breed in Europe and is becoming increasingly popular for this purpose in the U.S. Modern Tunis sheep are the result of combining the Middle Eastern fat-tailed sheep imported from Tunisia with the sheep available in America around 1799, making them one of the oldest U.S. sheep breeds. The Tunis is a medium-sized sheep with a distinct look. They have a creamy-colored wool. Their head and legs are solid tan to cinnamon red in color. Lambs are born red and lighten as they mature. Tunis ewes have an extended breeding season.
The Livestock Conservancy lists the Tunis breed under its watch category. Dubbed the world's cutest sheep, Valus Blacknose are hardy mountain breed that originated in Switzerland. They are dual-purpose, used for both meat and wool. Their wool is coarse, its main use is for felting and carpets. The breed is most valued for its unique appearance, which involves black parts of the nose, eyes, ears, front knees, hocks, and feet in an otherwise white body. Both sexes have spiral-shaped twisted horns. The first Valus Blacknose lambs were born in the U.S. in 2018, the result of an upgrading program. The Wensleydale is a long-wooled sheep that originated in England. It was developed in the 19th century by crossing the English Leicester with Teesdale sheep. It is a large sheep with long stapled lustrous wool that falls in long ringlets almost to ground level in unshorn sheep. The breed also has a distinctive gray-black face, ears, and legs. The breed was established in the U.S. in the late 1990s when Cotswold, English Leicester, and Lincoln ewes were inseminated with imported semen. The Wiltshire is a hair sheep that was developed mostly from the Wiltshire Horn, with an infusion of various wooled breeds, including Border Leicester, Perrendale, Paul Dorset, and Paul Merino. Primarily, they are a polled version of the Wiltshire Horn, developed in Australia as an easy care alternative to wooled sheep. At some point, the Wiltshire was introduced to the U.S. The Wiltshire Horn is a very old English breed that naturally sheds its short wool and white hair coat. As the name suggests, both ewes and ram are horned. The Wiltshire Horn's presence is documented very early in the history of the U.S., 1600s. The breed was again imported to the U.S. in the 1970s, when it was used in the development of the Katahdin breed. Importations in the 1990s freshened the genetic base. The Livestock Conservancy categorizes the Wiltshire Horn as a recovering breed.